How much did you know about what your chief of staff was doing with the alternate slates of electors? No, you're not. I can see your phone. I can see your screen.
Can you explain what your chief of staff was doing?
Does your chief of staff still work for you, Senator?
Can you explain what happened there? Why was your chief of staff even offering this to the vice president?
That's a complete non-story. We've issued a statement, and this is a non-story. I don't know what you're even concerned about.
Well, they said
Oh my God, Ron Johnson. That is one of the funniest videos I have seen in a long time. Ron Johnson is walking away, trying to avoid the question from the reporter, and he's pretending to be on a phone call. The reporter goes, "No, you're not on a call. I can see your phone isn't on." And he's like, "What?" The only way that could have been funnier is if Ron Johnson were to be like, wait, hold on. Yeah, let me get a Kung Pao chicken and a sweet and sour pork. And you want anything? No? Okay. Go ahead and throw in a beef and broccoli, just for good measure. All right. What was your question? I can't talk. I get in the car. I mean, that's question avoidance 101. That was the funniest. That's like straight out of a movie. That's so funny. I don't know where to begin. Let me give you a little bit of background. So in the January 6th hearings, it came out that Senator Ron Johnson, his chief of staff, got in touch with Vice President Mike Pence's chief of staff to go, I want to deliver you something that was the fake electors. If you guys have been following it at all, the fake electors was a conspiracy that was set up that was going to present, let's say in a state like Wisconsin or a state that Biden won with Democratic electors, they got together and said, we don't accept that. We think the election was stolen. So we're going to present our own Republican electors to our Congress members or senators, and they will then step up and go, even though Wisconsin was won for Biden, we disagree because we have here the real electors, the Republicans. And they were going to throw the whole election off. And basically, they'd come up with a plan to steal the election. So the texts come out between Ron Johnson's office and the vice president's office. The vice president's chief of staff tells Ron Johnson's office, do not bring the fake electors to me. I don't want to be involved in your conspiracy. So that's where it ends. But when Ron Johnson is confronted with it, typical Ron Johnson, first he says, I had no idea what was going on. It was my chief of staff. I don't know what he was doing. As if like you wouldn't know. Your chief of staff is the number one person under you. So that's the person. You would know what's going on. Secondly, he then tries to avoid this reporter by what he was walking. He walked a few miles when it came out on Wednesday that his office had been involved in trying to deliver the fake electors. And then he tries to avoid the questions. And then he goes on and says, again, I don't know what this is. He goes, somebody delivered something. Who delivered? Somebody delivered something to my office? And they asked me to deliver it to Mike Pence, so I'm just going to do it? That's how Congress works? Someone just shows up and goes, hey, by the way, here's a little envelope. Just go ahead and hand it to the second person in command. Really? And you go, fine. That's it? And then just to summarize it for you, on Thursday, Ron Johnson comes out on a radio show and says, I figured out where those fake electors came from. They came from a guy named Mark Kelly, who's a congressman out of Pennsylvania. And then the congressman out of Pennsylvania goes, I haven't talked to Ron Johnson in years. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. So clearly somebody's lying. But the bigger issue is that these people are part of a major conspiracy. And Ron Johnson is one of the worst human beings. He's the guy who, when the Capitol got attacked, he said, I didn't feel threatened when it was being attacked. He said, if it were Black Lives Matter protesters, maybe I would have felt threatened. He also said that January 6th was just basically a peaceful protest and a few got out of hand. This is all. So taking his comments that came a little bit, very like shortly after January 6th, and putting into context now the fact that he was involved in trying to present the false electors, the fake electors, it all makes sense. He knew all along that there was a conspiracy behind closed doors with Trump and a lot of his associates to present these fake electors and to stop the certification of the election. He knew that was happening. And so that's why when it got out of hand and Proud Boys and Oath Keepers and a mob that was riled up by Donald Trump tried to attack the Capitol and people died, including cops. And if they'd gotten to Mike Pence and to Nancy Pelosi and the AOC and others, officials might have died. Once Ron Johnson realized what a disaster January 6th was, rather than embracing and going, you know what, I'll be honest with you, I need to condemn this, and this was wrong, and Trump was wrong, et cetera, he tried to flip the whole card back then, and he's still doing it. This guy's a total liar. I feel bad for the people of Wisconsin. Please, people of Wisconsin, don't vote for such a dum-dum. I mean, he really is a dumb. Like, every time I hear this guy, Ron Johnson, talk, he's a dumb. But to the point where he took that phone and he was pretending to be on it, and it was so, oh my God, it's almost comical. Even if you are a Trump supporter, you should be watching these hearings for the pure entertainment value. I mean, the stuff that the co-conspirators were doing to try and hide their guilt is out of this world. And then it came out also this week that a bunch of Congress members had asked for pardons, preemptive pardons, guys like Matt Gaetz and others, which usually if you're not guilty of anything, you don't ask for a pardon. It's been entertaining. You should be watching this. You should be sending clips to your friends. It is one of the most entertaining things I've ever seen. And I will end it on this. There's one other very entertaining thing that happened was they played a clip of a guy who was working with Rudy Giuliani who made a 20-minute YouTube video where he said the Italians were involved with the CIA and MI6, that's the intelligence service out of England, to use some sort of satellite technology, I guess, to take all of a bunch of Trump votes and change them to Biden votes. This guy made a 20-minute video. Somehow that made its way to the White House, and Mark Meadows, who was Trump's chief of staff, sent that to the Department of Justice and said, please investigate. And when the acting attorney general looked at it, he goes, this is just crazy. And yet they still made him forward it because he said, you know, the only thing I could, because they wanted him to meet with the guy who made the video, who's a cuckoo. But basically, he forwarded that video to the defense secretary, who then called the defense secretary's counterpart in Italy and was like, hey, listen, there's an accusation that you Italians somehow flipped a bunch of votes. And he had to take that call and call the Italian guy. And I can't imagine what the Italian Secretary of Defense, when he hung up, he was probably like, what the hell is going on in America? These people have lost their minds. And that's who was leading the attempted coup of January 6th. You got to watch it. It's so entertaining. Share it with your friends and definitely vote these mofos out. I hope they get arrested. Ron Johnson, he's a co-conspirator. One of the biggest liars ever. This guy with the runny, watery eyes looks like JR from Dallas. Ron Johnson. I'm not on the phone. I'm on the phone. I'm not on the phone. What an idiot.